As the sun rose on their first day in the new house, the young couple sat at the breakfast table, excitement and nervousness mingling in the air. Noticing her neighbor hanging laundry outside, the young woman frowned, thinking, "That laundry is not very clean. She doesn't know how to wash correctly. Perhaps she needs better detergent." Her husband glanced at her, remaining silent, as he had grown accustomed to her frequent critiques of their neighbor's laundry skills. Every time her neighbor hung her washing out to dry, the young woman couldn't help but voice the same comments, each one laced with criticism. A month later, the young woman was taken aback to see a nice clean wash on the line, her eyebrows raising in surprise as she exclaimed to her husband, "Look, she's finally learned how to wash correctly. I wonder who taught her this." With a wry smile, her husband casually replied, "I got up early this morning and cleaned our windows." And so it is with life, the husband reflected, that what we see when watching others depends on the clarity of the window through which we look. The young woman felt a wave of realization wash over her as she stood in her living room, reflecting on her quick judgments. She had been so quick to judge her neighbor, unaware of her own flaws that were glaring back at her in the reflection. She turned to her husband and asked, "Why didn't you tell me about the dirty windows?" Her husband smiled and said, "I wanted you to see it for yourself." "Sometimes we need to reflect on our own shortcomings before we can truly understand others," he added wisely. The young woman nodded, feeling a sense of humility wash over her as she absorbed his insight. She decided to approach her neighbor and apologize for her judgments, recognizing the importance of mending fences. As they talked, she discovered they shared common interests and struggles, deepening her understanding of her neighbor's life. From that day forward, the young woman made a conscious effort to clean her own windows, to acknowledge her biases and flaws. As the young woman and her neighbor became closer, they started a community initiative to promote understanding and kindness. They organized workshops and gatherings, encouraging people to share their stories and struggles. The young woman realized that everyone has their own dirty windows, and that empathy and compassion can bridge even the widest gaps. She learned to approach life with a more open heart and mind, and her relationships flourished. One day she told her husband, "I'm grateful for those dirty windows. If I hadn't seen them, I might still be judging others without understanding myself." Her husband smiled, knowing that sometimes it's the imperfections that lead to growth and connection. Their community became a beacon of kindness, and the young woman's story inspired others to reflect on their own windows and approach life with greater empathy. Through shared experiences, they began to see each other not just as neighbors, but as vital parts of a larger tapestry of life. As they shared laughter and tears, they discovered that vulnerability was a strength, not a weakness. The young woman found that every story shared was a thread that wove them closer together, creating an unbreakable bond.